This is going to be a quick tutorial on how to build a basic story map. The view I'm on right now is your map database. So this is where you can see all the existing maps in your project, depending on what project you're on. From here, you can just go to Add a Map at the top. If you click on that, this will take you to our map templates. So if you ever want to see what's inside the map template, you can just click on Example. It'll bring up a thumbnail view of the map template. So we've got our basic story map. We have the concept of a story over a process. We have story over data, a story with custom background. We have a split screen story map. We also have customer graph over company graph. Those are auto mapping graph tools. We have process map templates. We have the executive summary map template, my personal favorite. I use this in most cases. We have grid maps, persona maps, and then the ability to configure your own map. For today, let's just create a basic story map. So when you click on the basic story map or any of the templates, it'll automatically open up the map editor. From here, you can give your map a name and a description. Anytime you see a color bar like this, that means you can click on it and you can choose a new color for that element. In this case, we'll choose something simple and light. So now if I hit close, just to give you an idea of what you've got here, using our template, you've got a title, a series of subtitles. Those would be your life cycle phases. You have a simple meandering path story map graph. You have an emotional heat map, and then you have empty text containers for doing, thinking, and feeling. All of this can be changed, but let's go ahead and start with what we've got and just kind of build on it a little bit. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to edit this map, and I'd like to take a look at my rows that are available to me. And I think what I'd like to do in this case is I'd like to add a place for images. So I'm going to take the row 3 right after my title bars and make this a place that I can add some image containers. So instead of choosing a story map here, I'm going to choose the embed map video image element. So this will be my images, and then I'll move down my journey map to the next row. I'll choose a story map large. Well, actually, no. I'll choose a story map small like it was before. Then from there, I'll pull back in my emotional heat map, and then I'll just drop down the doing, thinking, and feeling by choosing the text panels and then just moving the labels down appropriately. So by doing that, you can see how you could really customize any of these maps. And then if I'm happy with that, I'll hit save. So now what I've done is I've given myself a place to add images up at the top. Now let's start filling out some of the information. So let's do awareness, consideration, purchase, use, and return. If I had to use more columns, I can just open up this drop down here and I can increase my columns all the way up to 10. For now, if 5 is sufficient, or I can go as low as 3, I can just adjust there and that'll keep my titles and save. Now for the next section, this is where I can upload an image if I have an image available that I want to use. So let's see if I can find a good image for awareness and then upload. And then the next category here would be consideration. And then purchase. Let's see, what do we have next after purchase is basically use or aware, if this is retail example. And then repurchase or return. Okay, so let me close out of here. Now you can see we've got these creative elements now at the top in these image containers. How about I change my story map just a little bit? So let's go to row 4 story map, and this is where you can choose a different background. So if you hover over any of these background images, it'll give you a sort of an increased view of what you're looking at. And in this case, I really prefer the straight line background, and I've been using this on most of my maps lately, mostly because of the flexibility that this type of map offers when you start to use your blue line helpers. So to use your blue line helpers, you can just go to your storytelling elements, and then from here, I can do my own customizations on where I want to have my circles and lines. And I find that this is the most flexible way for me to build my story maps. So I generally start with something like this. And now from here, let's go back into edit this map. My next row is the emotional gradient. So from here, I want to describe the emotions that my persona or my customer is experiencing as they go through this process. And usually the delight is kind of happening at the end there. Save. And then that opens up that colorizes the emotional heat map behind us. And then next up I have my text boxes. So I can add all kinds of interesting details here around what the customer is doing, thinking and feeling across each lifecycle phase that I've created. You can type the content directly into this box, and then you can use some of the features to increase the font, make it a little bit easier to read. If you are copying and pasting from another source, then all you do is click on this little HTML editor and then do your pasting in here, and then click back on it and then hit save. Okay, so now we have a retail story map template. I can go get eye points from inventory by clicking on my inventory filter, and then I can pull in some of my awareness, shop, buy, return, promote, repurchase, back to map. And then I'm just going to plot these out where they belong on the story. And that's pretty much it. That's the beginning of your basic story map. In order to change the way that the eye points look, we can go into edit this map, and then we can go to our eye point visible elements, change what you're showing here to make the eye points look the way you want them to, and then click save and close. And then you're off to the races. Remember to explore your storytelling elements. This is where you can add text boxes, additional image containers. You can look for meaningful icons that help tell parts of your story. We have things like sticky notes and all kinds of variations of text gears, emotions, signs. We have a whole library of people, all kinds of different people, professional people, people with just their faces or their bodies. The blue line helpers, which we already showed, and also the persona tools are down here in the story elements. That's it. If you want to add eye points to the map directly without using inventory, you just click on the eye point library and go to any of these eye points that you want to add, double click on them, and then they become part of your map. Make sure you move the other eye points around to make room for them and give your eye point a name and give it some other attributes. And then off you go. Let us know if you have any questions. Thank you.